You walked out the door in the 1970s and you vanished. No cell phone, no schedule, just the fading echo of a slamming screen. Nobody knew what you would build that day, or whether you would come back with splinters, a scraped knee, or a wild idea. While adults worried, you learned everything vital through risk and boredom, not instruction. What made those unregulated moments shape a generation's psychology so completely? The answer begins with freedom itself. A hammer in one hand, a bent nail in the other. This is how projects began. You and a handful of friends scouted the edge of the woods, hunting for scrap lumber behind garages or along the creek. Someone had an old door, another found a spool of wire. Roles sorted themselves out fast, the planner, the collector, the kid who could swing a hammer straight. There were no blueprints, only vision and trial, and raw imagination as the fort took shape plank by plank. Arguments flared, then faded, as each kid claimed a wall or a window. Hours disappeared in the focus of making something that belonged to no one but you. Hunger and sunlight kept time, not parents or clocks. By dusk, the fort stood crooked but proud, a product of negotiation and persistence born entirely from your own initiative. A bike ramp, slapped together from plywood and cinder blocks, waits at the edge of the street. You crouch low on the banana seat, heart thumping, friends daring you to go faster. The run-up is rough, gravel crunching under tires. Then the front wheel lifts, and for a second you're airborne. The landing isn't smooth. Handlebars jerk, your knee skids across the pavement. Blood beads, stinging sharp, but you brush it off, checking the scab with a mix of pride and calculation. No adult runs over. You replay the moment, feeling the bite of momentum, the exact point where speed outstripped control. Next time you'll adjust. Hit the ramp straighter, lean back, maybe add a brick for height. Each scrape and bruise becomes a lesson, body and brain working out the math of risk, learning real limits by touching them directly. The afternoon stretches out, thick with heat and nothing to do. You drift to the stoop, knees drawn to your chest, eyes scanning the sidewalk for a sign, anything. The city hums, but nobody offers a plan. A scrap of cardboard, 2 socks, and a black marker become a stage. Shadows flicker as your hands invent voices, storylines, a world that answers only to you. No one interrupts, no schedule crowds out your ideas. The show might play to an audience of 1, or a passing neighbor drawn by the sound of laughter. In these empty hours, your mind wanders and loops, testing what fits, what fails, what might be funny or strange. Researchers would later call it divergent thinking, creativity sparked not by abundance but by the quiet pressure of nothing happening. You learn to fill the silence, to pull something from the blankness, and to trust that the next great idea might be waiting just beyond the edge of boredom. A single night each week, the living room glows with anticipation. The clock creeps toward 8, and you claim your spot on the carpet, eyes fixed on the television as the theme song begins. Miss it, and you wait 7 days. There are no replays, no second chances. The same patience grows in the slow clink of coins dropped into a glass jar. Allowance saved 1 quarter at a time for something big, a skateboard, a record, a ticket to the movies. No one expects it now, but you learn to wait, to savor the build-up. Later, psychologists tracked these habits and found that kids who practiced waiting, whether for a show or a saved-up treat, grew up with stronger self-control, able to pace themselves in a world that did not always deliver right away. A stubbed toe, a bruised ego, a knot of worry rising in your chest. On the stoop, these feelings had room to breathe. No one hurried over with soothing words or quick fixes. The rotary phone sat inside, a world away from instant comfort. You learned to sit with frustration, to let anger or sadness crest and fall without an adult's voice smoothing the edges. Sometimes you talked it out with a friend. Sometimes you just waited, tracing cracks in the sidewalk until the ache faded. The world did not rush to reassure you. Over time, you figured out how to calm yourself, to trust that feelings passed on their own schedule. Developmental psychologists would later study this kind of resilience, tracing its roots to childhoods where feedback arrived slowly, where self-soothing was not a skill you read about, but something you practiced alone on the stoop, one long afternoon at a time. Not every child had the same freedom or the same safety net. Emergency rooms in the 1970s logged thousands of playground injuries, fractures, deep cuts, even the rare fatal fall, often from equipment set over concrete or packed dirt. The numbers told a story of risk, but not an even one. In some neighborhoods, newer parks and softer surfaces cushioned the blows. In others, worn-out swings and hard ground meant more broken bones. Access to safe places to play depended on where you lived, the color of your skin, or how much your parents earned. A public health historian might point out that even today, injury rates still track with income and race, echoing patterns from decades before. Yet, across these divides, a common thread ran through childhood. You learned by doing, by falling, by getting back up. 5 lessons: competence, risk, patience, creativity, and resilience, fused into the adult you became, not because the path was easy, but because you walked it, scraped knees and all. Today, kids face fewer chances to fail safely. As digital life accelerates, the skills honed by freedom grow rare and more essential than ever. What will we risk losing next?